What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Game week 24 is now just a week away, halfway through the sort of big gap that we have, and I'm going to give you sort of update on my game week 24 transfer plans, team selection, and sort of talk to you about some of the things that maybe have been a bit up in the air and whether we should be buying Mo Salah back, what's going to happen with new signings and everything like that. So I'm recording on Tuesday, so the transfer deadline has now passed, so there are no more transfers that are going to be coming into the league. We've seen a few come in on deadline day, and it's quite difficult to make final decisions until that has been done. So we have that confirmed, and we also now know that Salah is going to be playing in the African Cup of Nations semi-final. But what is also important is that whether they win the semi-final or not, they will play again on the 6th of February in either the 3rd, 4th place playoff or in the final of the African Cup of Nations. This is on the 6th of February, and then Liverpool play again on the 10th of February. So he is going to play at 6th in Africa, and is it going to be enough time for him to come back and play again on the 10th at home to Leicester? There is a lot of doubt, and given that that match is so far after the Game Week 24 deadline, it's unlikely that we get a press conference before the deadline. So we are going to be left guessing about whether we think Salah is going to be available for that game, which has a big implication for my transfer plans. I spoke earlier in the week about whether I wanted to get him in for either Fernandes or Ronaldo, given that they have a double, or am I scared of not having Salah for his 2 games coming up. With that in mind, I probably think I'm not going to go and buy Salah for game week 24, and it means I won't own him for game week 25 as well, because that is the week that Manchester United have their double game week. So it doesn't really make sense to me to sell either of my Manchester United options going into that double game week. So with that in mind, I now have 2 free transfers and 0.8 million in the bank. As you can see, this is how my team is lining up at the moment. So I need to make one transfer, and that transfer is not going to be used, I don't think, on buying Mo Salah. I made one change to the starting lineup since my last video, and Odegaard came in off my bench for Dennis. Not particularly pleased with Dennis. I'm very happy to bench him. And Odegaard, I think I just have a bit of trust in him, a bit of faith in him. He's not owned by very many people, and he's looked really good. Was very unlucky not to return against Burnley in game week 23. So he is starting. I do also like the idea of playing White. If any of my players don't play, then White can come off the bench, or Dennis. So I do have a strong bench, but as I say, I do have 2 free transfers, so I am looking at maybe how I can bring in a Brighton player, even though they don't play this week, because they have a double game week in 25 and may even have a double game week in game week 26 as well. So let's pull up the official site. We'll start clicking through of some of the transfers that I'm now thinking about, given that we have a bit more information on new signings, on Salah's return in potentially game week 24 and 25. So let's get into it. So here is my team up on screen at the moment. As you can see, 2 free transfers, 0.8 million in the bank. Now, as I said, I don't want Salah, and I may be targeting Brighton for their double game week in game week 25, and the possibility that they double again in game week 26. Now, I don't love their attacking players, because the likes of Trossard, Mopai, Welbeck even, McAllister in midfield, I don't think they're all going to play sort of 4 games if they double twice. If they have 3 games, even a double and a single, the chance of them playing all 3 of those games I think is quite low, given the rotation that they have seen in recent weeks. So I am focusing more on them from a defensive point of view as well, because I don't think they score that many goals, and they do keep probably more clean sheets than I think they will score goals from an attacking point of view. So if I look from a defensive point of view, White I want to keep. Now, he does blank in game week 25 and in game week 27, but I am planning on free hitting in game week 27. And then there's a chance that Arsenal have a couple of double game weeks coming up in sort of game week 28, 29. So White and Odegaard, although they have a couple of blanks coming up, I do want to keep in my team. Which means I don't want to sell Trent, of course. Cancelo I don't want to sell. It leaves Reguilon and Johnson. Now, Reguilon is currently starting for me this week. I could play White away at Wolves, so that is a possibility. However, for very easy transfer, I could just take out Johnson and basically bring in any Brighton defender. Now, if I look at them, with Dan Burn going to Newcastle, then Veltman at 4.2 becomes what feels like a more nailed option. Now, the one I'm really looking at is Webster at 4.4 million. Still very cheap, but he seems to be very nailed playing at centre-back. He'll play alongside Dunk and is very good from set pieces, as we saw when he scored against Chelsea in the recent game weeks. They have some nice upcoming fixtures, despite blanking this week. They have Watford, then they have Burnley, Aston Villa, Newcastle, all before game week 28. So that would be a very easy one transfer, and I could even roll my second transfer this week, and it would improve my bench, because I would be selling Johnson, who doesn't seem to be playing at all for West Ham anymore. Now, if I was to make a second transfer, the other players I'd probably go with are Bernardo Silva and Dennis, two players I'm not particularly happy with at the moment. Again, I'd probably be focusing on Brighton. Bernardo, if I went for a midfield, that would probably be Trossard. It would free up a little bit of money. I'd be able to go for the double game week player. Bernardo's not been that great. If there is a double game week in 26 as well for Brighton, I may do this and hope Trossard plays 3 out of the 4 games. Or if I kept Bernardo Silva, I do have exact money in the bank to do Dennis up to Mopai up front, who I do think is still a good option. However, I don't really like the Brighton attack very much. Mopai and Trossard, I don't think they'll score many goals. They could get attacking returns, but do I think it's really useful using a transfer on these guys when I may not want them for the long term? Probably not. So right now, although it's boring, I currently think I'm just going to make one move and upgrade Ben Johnson to Webster. Although Webster doesn't play this week, he'll come in for the double game weeks. Now, if there are other double game weeks in 25 or 26 even announced, then this may change my plan. But I think the longer that I can roll my 2 free transfers so that I've got them to plan when we do get more double game week announcements, which is really what my focus is at the moment, that will be really valuable for me. So just using one transfer, getting a defender who I expect to play all the games in the double game weeks, cheap option in Webster in defence. He has good attacking threat plus clean sheet potential. That is my current transfer at the moment. So those are a few of my first transfer plans, potentially aiming at the defence for the start. Midfield as well, there are a few in there that I think may go for my team in future weeks, Jota and Bernardo Silva in particular. Up front, I'm quite happy with for the time being, given that Ronaldo has his double. Dennis could go if I do like the idea of a forward coming in. Let me know your comments and your questions going into Game Week 24 in the comments section down below, and I'll answer all of them ahead of the Game Week 24 deadline. There will be videos and live streams both on this channel and other channels around the community before the deadline. So do stay tuned for all of that to help you get the best rank possible you can this FPL season. If you have enjoyed, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you get a reminder for all of those videos and streams, and I'll be back again very soon.